Top AI engineers today can make over $1 million a year, and these are real compensation data from companies like Meta and OpenAI. There are over 1 million OpenAI related roles globally, and not enough people with the right skills to fill them. But then there are also people who can't find jobs, so what's going on here? Who are getting these high paid jobs, and what skills do you actually need to get hired? Because the thing is that most people are learning the wrong things. They jump straight into prompt engineering or chase whatever new AI tools are trending that week. But when you look at real job postings, that's not what companies are actually asking for. If you're new here, I'm Jane. I spent 20 years as an engineer and an engineering manager at companies like WhatsApp and Meta. And I've interviewed and hired hundreds of engineers. In this video, I'll break down what an AI engineer actually does and give you a step-by-step roadmap to get there, even if you're starting from zero. Thanks to Coursera for sponsoring this video. More on them later. First, I want to show you something. This is a real AI job posting on LinkedIn, posted 3 weeks ago. Pay is $125,000 to $225,000 a year, remote, and is hiring across multiple levels, junior, mid, and senior level. So this isn't some niche senior only role. This is what companies are hiring for right now. Let me read you what they're actually looking for. You see Python and SQL, working with APIs, cloud like AWS or Azure, basic AI and ML concepts, and some exposure to automation or agent systems. That's the required list. Now let's look at what's preferred. Things like multi-agent systems, LangChain, AutoGen, Crew AI, monitoring tools, and vector databases. Do you notice what's not here? It doesn't say PhD, it doesn't say you need to train models from scratch, no deep learning research background. Oftentimes when people hear the word AI engineer, they picture someone with a PhD training models from scratch. And yes, those roles do exist, but they're usually called a machine learning engineer or a researcher. And that's not what this job posting is describing. Look at how this role is actually defined. Designed, build, iterate, and operate production-grade AI agentic system. That means taking models that are already there and building real products around them. You're working with APIs, workflows, systems that actually run inside companies, and that is the job. And the important part is this is learnable. You don't need a PhD, you don't need to train models from scratch, you just need the right foundation. So let's break down what that actually looks like. Let's go back to the job posting. First line right at the top, it says proficiency in Python and SQL. So let's start with Python. This is the language of AI. Almost every tool, library, and framework runs with Python. So if you're serious about this path, Python is really non-negotiable. I put together a free 12-page Python roadmap specifically for this, and you can follow along with the video guide. All the resources are going to be in the roadmap available on my Substack. Next is SQL. This one gets overlooked a lot, but it shouldn't. AI engineers work with data all the time, querying databases, joining tables, filtering, aggregating, and it's not flashy, but it shows up everywhere in real systems, so don't skip it. Next is basic Linux commands, things like bash or PowerShell. You don't need to go super deep into this, but you should be comfortable with Linux basics and running scripts, because eventually your code has to run somewhere. Next is learning AI and machine learning fundamentals. Your goal doesn't need to become a machine learning engineer, but you do need to understand how these systems actually work. Like, what is a model? What is the difference between training a model and just using one? At a high level, you should understand what foundation models are, how they're trained, how they're aligned, and how they scale. Then there's sampling. This is how a model decides what to generate next. It's why the same prompt can give you very different answers. And finally, evaluation. This is where AI gets different from traditional software. In AI, there's rarely one right answer. So you're not just testing correctness. You're looking for usefulness. How good is the output? How does it compare? When is the model hallucinating? So that's the shift. It's not about memorizing theory. It's about understanding how these systems behave in the real world. But don't rush this part. Getting this right will save you from hitting a wall later in phase 3 when things get actually complex. And unfortunately, if you're trying to get into AI, one of the hardest parts isn't learning, it's having the structure and discipline to follow through. That's why what stands out about Coursera is that they've been building learning paths around that problem. You can follow curated programs like AI for Everyone. It's a beginner-friendly overview of AI concepts, use cases, and real-world impact without requiring coding. If you're looking looking for something more practical, the Google AI Professional Certificate is a great one. Instead of deep coding, it focuses on mastering plain English prompting to automate data analysis, streamline communication, and build custom web apps from scratch. And if you're looking to go deeper into both AI and machine learning, Microsoft AI and Machine Learning Engineering is a more structured path towards building and deploying real systems. If you're feeling overwhelmed by where to start or how to go deeper, having a structured path like this can help you move faster and avoid wasting time jumping between resources. I'll link these in the description if you want to explore them. Now let's get back to the video. Now that you understand the basics, you want to start building with AI. First skill here is prompt engineering. And no, I don't mean typing clever questions into ChatGPT. Real prompt engineering is about getting consistent, reliable result from a model inside a real system. That means understanding system prompts, few-shot examples, and how to structure the model's reasoning before it answers. Anthropic and Meta both have free prompt engineering guides, and I'll link them in the roadmap on Substack. Then there's context engineering, which is about shaping what the model sees before it answers. And often this matters more than the prompt itself because the model can only use the information you give it. So the real skill is knowing what to include, what to remove, and how to structure it. That's what makes the output actually relevant instead of just sounding right. Next is RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. This is how models pull in external information at query time instead of relying only on what they're trained on. At a high level, it's pretty simple. Retrieve the right information, feed it into the model, generate the answer. But the hard part is getting the retrieval right, because if you're pulling the wrong context, you might still get a confident but hallucinated answer. And then there's MCP, Model Context Protocol. This is about connecting models to tools and systems. Instead of just generating text, the model can call APIs, query data, trigger actions. By the end of this phase, your goal is pretty simple. You should be able to build a working AI application from end to end. Something that takes input and pulls the right context and produces a useful output. Once you can do that reliably, you're ready for phase 3. This is where things start getting a little bit more challenging, but it's also where you can really stand out. Let's go back to the job posting and look at what they list under AI systems: multi-agent orchestration frameworks, vector databases. This is what companies want once you move beyond the basics. These are the more advanced topics, and they're often specific to the role. So you don't need to learn all of them to get started, but this is how you differentiate yourself. One big area here is agents. An agent isn't just generating text, it's taking action. It can query a database, call an API, update records, trigger workflow. And there's the multi-agent system, which is multiple agents working together, each handling part of a larger task. And this is where a lot of real enterprise AI is going right now. Systems that don't just answer questions, but actually execute work for you. And then there are deeper topics like fine-tuning. This is when you train a model further on your own data to make it more consistent or specialized. Data engineering is how you collect, clean, and structure data because the model is only as good as the data behind it. And inference optimization is about making systems fast and efficient, reducing cost, improving latency, and making them scalable in production. You don't need to start here, but this is where things are going once you move beyond building simple applications to building real systems at scale. Phase 4 is probably the most important phases of all, is getting hired. And this is where most people get really stuck because learning AI and getting hired for AI are two different skills. Technical knowledge gets you qualified, but getting the job requires proof. Proof that you can actually build. And that starts with a real project. Not a tutorial you follow step by step, but a real problem that you're solving, real decisions, real trade-offs. So pick something that you really care about, use real data, build it. Maybe you break it sometimes, but fix it. And most importantly, you want to document it. Because if you look at the job posting, documentation is part of the job. So show that you can do it. Every project should have a clear README explaining what it does and why. Practice making architecture diagrams or even record a short demo video. Make it really impossible for hiring managers to miss it. And on your resume, you're not listing tools or languages. You want to focus on listing outcomes. What have you achieved? So it's not going to be that I use LangChain and vector databases. Those are great keywords to list in a bullet point, but you want to show your impact. So maybe it's that you built a RAG pipeline that answered questions across 200 internal documents, which improved engagement by 35%. The first tells people what you have touched or learned. The second one tells them what you can do. And if you want more help on this, check out the Ultimate Resume Handbook, where I teach you step by step how to revamp your own resume using ChatGPT. Another key part that takes a lot of time is networking. You can attend conferences or meetups to talk to people who are in the field. If you're lucky, you might even find people who are doing the hiring. Talk to them to find out what they're looking for in candidates, build relationships. Maybe you might even get a referral. Also, a good way to network online nowadays is to share what you're learning. And if you do post on LinkedIn, feel free to tag me. I do always look at all the posts. I also asked 5 leaders who are hiring people on the ground what they're looking for in candidates. So you can check out this video if you're interested, and I'll see you there.